Today, we're going to be talking about how DB pension transfer delays can cost you serious money. Okay, this is a real life case example where we made a complaint to the transferring out scheme, or the Ceding scheme as it's professionally called in the UK, and we got over £9,000 paid to our client because of the delay which had happened at the scheme. So, clients are always talking to me about cost. I can tell you now, working with a cheap financial advisor who does not know what they're doing will invariably cost you more. Our initial advice fees were basically evened out by the complaint that we made for the client and the extra cash that they had. So, going to dive into the real case here. Dear Mr. XYZ and Sharon, who's one of our staff, we further write to email below and your complaint made by your independent financial advisor on your behalf in regards to your transfer out. First and foremost, I'm very sorry that you're unhappy about the service you received and felt the need to complain about the delay in settling your pension transfer. As you may be aware, there are many requirements of the transfer process and due diligence that needs to be undertaken before a transfer can commence. Fair enough, I do agree, they have a lot of work to do. Firstly, to secure the transfer, we needed to receive both the signed application and the advisor's statement by the guarantee expiry deadline at the 22nd of November 2022, followed by the transfer questionnaire and the receiving scheme warranty with any relevant supporting documentation. Correct. Our records indicated that we received the signed application and advisor statements by the 22nd of November, followed by the questionnaire on the 23rd of November. Tick. So just a quick point there, it's actually only the client signed application and the advisor statement which is required in order to secure. On receipt of the questionnaire, this allows us to establish if any further diligence is required, and as your case has generated an amber flag, you as a member were required to attend a money help session as per legislation before the transfer could proceed.
What the hell are you talking about?
The amber flag on this client's transfer was he was investing into the iShares S&P 500 fund, one of the biggest underlying funds in the entire world with the largest assets under management. The reason they call it an amber flag is because it's an international investment. But every single, or nearly every single defined benefit scheme in the UK has international investments inside it. So really strange legislation. The problem they made with the legislation is they should have given a caveat saying that schemes need to do extra due diligence on international investments that look strange or untoward or dodgy, not iShares S&P 500, in my personal professional opinion. This is to make you aware of pension scams and with a view of safeguarding your benefits before any transfers are made. We wrote to you on the 16th of January to make you aware of this and the acknowledgement to delay in sending this to you. We have been experiencing an unprecedented large volume of requests and we've been working hard to respond within a timely manner, which is also impacted by the festive period. However, we fully understand the explanation does not remedy our experience and we regret that we are unable to issue the information at an earlier date. We are sorry for the inconvenience that this has caused. Okay, now I understand, everyone's busy. Festive period is simply not an excuse. This thing about unprecedented large volume of requests, I don't care. You've looked after a member for 20, 25, 30 years. You've been collecting money from them, or not from them, from their scheme, their employer is set up. You've been paid all this time. Employ enough staff. I know here at Cameron James what happens when we have a backlog. I employ more people. It cuts into your profit as an organisation, but you have to deliver high quality service. The problem with these firms, in my opinion, is they don't need to do anything to win your business for defined benefit pension or defined benefit schemes because you're already in from your employer. You didn't get to choose which pension scheme you're in. Now you're making an active decision, but they get your money. They don't really have to work very hard for it, and they keep the assets under management. Obviously, you don't directly pay them, but your employer pays them from the pension scheme. A bit of a rant there. I understand that you could get a money helper session on the 21st of February and that you sent us your confirmation of attendance this following day, which then allowed us to proceed with the next stage of the process, which was disinvest your AVCs. Where AVCs are involved, our usual process is that we do not disinvest these until all the relevant due diligence has been completed and the transfer is allowed to proceed. The reason for this is to ensure they are subject to investment performance and not sat in the trustee's account for long periods of time. Furthermore, until due diligence has been completed, there is a possibility that the transfer may not have even been able to go ahead, meaning we would not want to disinvest these funds, and this is the case. Correct. They should not be disinvesting AVCs because obviously they will then be sitting in the cash account there. We received your disinvested AVCs on the 10th of March 2023, which then allowed us to settle your transfer to your receiving scheme on the 15th of March. The payment was released the following day by BACS and should have been received within 3 to 5 working days. With reference to your request for compensation, we thoroughly reviewed the circumstances relating to your case. There are occasions when it is appropriate to pay compensation if the service by XYZ has fallen short of the expected by the member and our actions have clearly caused distress or inconvenience to the member. and financial loss. However, as administrators, we are unable to pay compensation as a standard response to a complaint. Having considered this particular case, we cannot offer any compensation as the delays have been outside of XYZ's control. We would, however, like to make you aware of the 6-month disclosure period from the date of calculating the transfer value up to the transfer date must be completed. Where this is not the case, our standard procedure is to provide the greater of either a new transfer quotation or apply an interest rate at the Bank of England base rate plus 1% to the previous value. As the latter was greater in this case, you will note that we've increased the transfer value non-AVC element by £9,735 and 29 pence. £9,735 and 29 pence. This client's pension transfer was around £500,000. Our initial setup charge was 2%, circa 10k, for nearly 6 to 9 months worth of work we did. Our simple complaint that we made to the scheme correctly, not just having to go at them and saying, oh, we want money, no, outlining it all for the client. We put together a dedicated timeline. It takes my team 3 or 4 hours to put together that full timeline. We then send it to the scheme, including all the relevant legislation, the timelines, everything that we know that they should be sticking to as in a scheme. £9,700 back to the client. So that's just a clear example. Don't go cheap. Don't go and pick cheap financial advisors. It's like when you're doing your conservatory at home. If you get a quote for 5 grand and someone else is 20 grand or 15 grand, whatever it is, you have to ask what is the quality of the service that you are going to get in return. So guys, I hope that's been very useful for you in understanding how we help our clients get the very best out of their pension transfers. We cannot change the CETV value, but we can make sure you get high quality service from your Ceding scheme. And if you don't, we will always make a complaint on your behalf where we believe you should be entitled to some type of compensation or an extra uplift on your pension transfers. Guys, if you want to get in touch, you can do so via the description below, or you can head over to the website to book in for a free consultation with myself or one of our senior financial advisors. And if any of you have been through these types of processes before and you've been very frustrated with your scheme or you think you were due compensation, please let me know in the comment section below and I will try to respond to you personally. Thank you very much, and as always, take care with the UK pension assets.